No matter what today looked like for you, whether it brought laughter or tears, chaos or calm, clarity or confusion, I want you to know something deeply comforting. You made it here. You made it to this moment, and that means grace carried you. And no matter what tomorrow holds, even if it feels uncertain, heavy, or too far out of your control, God is already there. He's not waiting for you to arrive to start working. He's not pacing heaven wondering how it will all unfold. He is present in your tomorrow, just as He is here in your now. So tonight, as you prepare to rest, I want to invite you to breathe deeply and release what you're trying to figure out. You don't have to have the answers. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to surrender. Exodus 33:14 says, "My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest." That is God's promise. Not only that He'll guide you, but that He'll bring peace into the journey before it even begins. Let that settle in your heart tonight. Before the morning comes, God is already moving. Before the first step is taken, peace has already been prepared. So as we pray tonight, don't just ask for strength for tomorrow, ask for surrender. Don't just ask for a solution, ask for deeper trust. Let's give God full access to the worries, the unknowns, the deadlines, the decisions, and in exchange, let Him give us His rest. Before you close your eyes tonight, let your soul breathe deeply, not with answers, but with anchoring truth. These verses aren't just ancient words. They are promises that hold up your tomorrow like pillars in the dark. When your thoughts run ahead into the unknown, let these scriptures pull you gently back into peace. Let them be the arms that hold you steady when your grip on hope feels weak. Jeremiah 29:11. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." There is something incredibly powerful about knowing that someone has a plan, especially when that someone is God. Maybe right now, your life feels like it's stuck between chapters, like you're living in the pause between what was and what will be. The future feels blurry. The steps ahead feel scattered. But God says, "I know the plan." You don't have to. That's not your burden to carry. You're not behind. You're not lost. You're not forgotten. The author of time knows what He's doing with yours. And when anxiety whispers that you're wasting time, or that you've missed your moment, remember this. God's timing is not your enemy, it's your rescue. His plans do not bend under pressure. They don't unravel with your fears. They hold. They prosper. They give hope. Even if today felt like a detour, it wasn't. It was still on His map. So tonight, instead of asking for the whole picture, maybe ask for peace with the puzzle piece you're holding. He sees what you can't. He knows the chapter that's coming next, and it's filled with His goodness. And if you feel stuck tonight, stuck in fear, in delay, in what seems like silence, remember this. Delay is not denial. Confusion is not absence. God's plan often blooms in quiet soil. He has not forgotten your name. He has not misplaced your future. Even now, He's working the night shift. Isaiah 45:2. "I will go before you and level the mountains. I will break down gates of bronze and cut through bars of iron." Some of us lie awake at night replaying the things that feel too big for us. Conversations we dread, decisions that loom, outcomes we can't control. To us, they look like mountains. But to God, they are already being leveled. He sees the incline before your feet touch the path, and He prepares the way. He doesn't just stand with us, He walks ahead of us. His power isn't just beside you, it's clearing a path in front of you. That thing you think you'll never overcome. It's already under His feet. That opportunity you think is blocked. He's already dismantling the gates, God doesn't wait for the morning to start moving. He's active even now, while you rest, while you sleep, while you sigh. And sometimes, what looks like delay is divine demolition. He's tearing down what was never meant to stand in your way. And when you wake, you'll find peace in places where you once only saw pressure. You'll walk paths where fear once stood. That's what it means to have a God who levels mountains. You don't have to wake up tomorrow and fight the mountain. You just have to follow the one who's already made a way. Matthew 6:34. Therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Jesus speaks to the warrior in all of us, not the chronic planner or the responsible adult, but the heart that tries to write tomorrow's script at 2 a.m. The mind that replays what-ifs until sleep feels impossible. The soul that clenches around outcomes it was never meant to control. He sees how tightly you hold the unknown, how your thoughts run ahead into rooms you haven't even walked into yet. And he gently says, you don't have to go there. You're not built to carry days you haven't entered. You were created to walk with God, moment by moment, not month by month. Worry steals sleep, but trust restores it. When you give God your tomorrow, you're not being careless, you're being courageous. You're saying, I'm not the author, I'm just the page. And pages don't have to know the ending to trust the story is good. Rest is not found in perfect planning. It is found in deep surrender. Tonight, surrender your midnight questions. Let them turn into quiet prayers. Lay down the heavy mental rehearsals and pick up the peace that comes from knowing God is already rehearsing your rescue. Let that be your breath tonight. I don't know what tomorrow brings, but I know who already holds it. Psalm 37:23-24. The Lord makes firm the steps of the one who delights in him. Though he may stumble, he will not fall, for the Lord upholds him with his hand. There's something deeply comforting about the idea of God being involved in the very steps we take. Not just the big moments, the milestones or miracles, but the tiny, trembling steps we take in faith when we're not even sure where they're leading. Maybe you've stumbled lately. Maybe you feel like the last season was one long fall forward. But this verse doesn't condemn stumbling. It embraces it. It says, you won't fall. Because even in your missteps, God's hand never lets go. You can rest tonight knowing your movement isn't meaningless. That nudge in your spirit, that decision you've been delaying. God sees it. And even if you misstep, He's strong enough to steady you. He's not after your perfection. He's after your pursuit. When you feel like the floor is falling out from under you, remember, there's a hand under the floor. His grip is stronger than your weakness. His support's steadier than your uncertainty. When your steps are slow and hesitant, He's not impatient. He's kind. So walk slowly, faithfully, and know this: every step surrendered to God becomes sacred ground. Proverbs 16:9. In their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. You're allowed to make plans. You're even encouraged to dream, envision, prepare. But if your plans unravel, don't unravel with them. Because the Lord establishes the steps. That's not just guidance, it's guardianship. We like control because it gives the illusion of safety. But what if true safety isn't found in the clarity of your plan, but in the closeness of your God? What if peace doesn't come from knowing what's next, but from knowing who walks with you into what's next? God isn't asking you to erase your desires. He's inviting you to submit them, to say, here's what I hope for, God. But more than that, I want what you know is best. His way may surprise you, it may stretch you, but it will never fail you. So open your hands and let the worry fall. Trust the one who writes destiny in permanent ink. And trust me, What He ordains is always better than what you orchestrate. So tonight, rest your racing mind, loosen your grip on tomorrow, and let His word be the weight that anchors you, because before the sun rises, God has already prepared the way. Because before the day begins, His mercy is already new. Because before you step out, His hand is already holding you. You don't need to have the map, you just need to follow the Maker. Welcome to Shine Light. Let's trust Him together. Let us pray. Father, as night wraps the world in silence, I come to you with my whole heart, not half trusting, not half hoping, but fully laid down before you. You see what no one else sees. You know the thoughts that toss in my mind when the world quiets down. And tonight, Lord, I need you to meet me here, right in the middle of the unknown. Why does tomorrow feel so heavy, Lord? Why does the thought of what's next press against my chest like weight I was never meant to carry? Maybe it's because I feel unready. Maybe it's because life has thrown too many surprises, and I've forgotten what it feels like to expect good things again. Or maybe it's because the noise of the world has drowned out the stillness of trust. But you, God, you are still speaking. You are still faithful. You are still holding the sun that will rise in the morning. So tonight, I make this declaration, not as someone who has it all together, but as someone who knows where to lay it all down. I place my tomorrow in your hands. Not just the events, not just the meetings or the chores or the decisions. I place my fears about tomorrow, my hesitations, my hidden tears, the things I don't talk about with anyone, but think about constantly. You already know them, and still, you wait for me to give them to you. Lord, I surrender the illusion that I need to be strong enough to handle everything on my own. I confess the quiet pride that thinks, if I just plan enough, I won't be blindsided. But I've been blindsided before, and yet, I survived. Because you were there, and you will be there again. Even when my faith feels small, you are still big. Even when I doubt the path, you never lose sight of the destination. Even when I hesitate at the edge of the unknown, you are already walking through it. So give me faith not to see everything, but to trust the one who sees. Even when I am overwhelmed by the unknown, remind me that my security has never been in the certainty of outcomes, but in the constancy of your presence. I ask for your peace, Lord, not just a fleeting calm or a nice idea. I mean the deep kind, the kind that sinks into my bones and quiets the racing in my chest, the kind of peace that turns down the volume of every fear, the peace that whispers, "You're not alone in this." Peace that doesn't wait for circumstances to change, but takes root before the answers come. You know the thoughts that come when the lights go out, the regrets, the what-ifs, the moments I replay in my mind, wondering if I should have said something different, done something differently, chosen another way. But what if you're telling me tonight that none of it was wasted? That even my worst days were held by the same hand that holds the stars? That even what I would call failure, you call foundation? You are the God who turns ashes into beauty, and so I give you the ashes of my doubts, the rubble of my fears, and ask you to build something beautiful with it. Tonight, I ask you to redeem my perspective. Take the broken lenses I've used to view my past and replace them with the clarity of your truth. Help me not to filter tomorrow through the fog of yesterday's pain. Help me to see through eyes of faith, not fear, not with rose-colored optimism, but with spirit-born vision that sees not just what is, but what you are doing. Heal what anxiety has broken in me. Heal the part of me that expects disappointment before blessing. Heal the places that brace for bad news more easily than they hope for a miracle. Rewire the expectations in my heart, Lord. so I don't just survive each day, I live it with faith. Give me holy anticipation for good things, for breakthroughs I didn't orchestrate, and for answers that exceed what I could ever imagine. Lord, strengthen me, not just to endure the day ahead, but to walk in it boldly. Let me rise tomorrow not in dread, but in confidence. Let me speak with authority, not because I know the future, but because I know the one who wrote it. Let every breath be an act of trust. Let every step be covered in grace. Teach me to discern your whispers amidst the noise. Remind me that your silence is never absence. It's sometimes a sacred pause before the breakthrough. And when I can't feel you, help me to remember what I know, that you are always near, always working, always for me. Teach me to find you in quiet places. Teach me to wait without worry, to hope without demanding, and to worship in the middle of the question marks. I speak peace over my home tonight, over every room, every door frame, every place where worry has tried to rest. Let your spirit displace every anxious presence. Let laughter, warmth, and rest fill these walls. Let memories be made even in the night, of stillness, of closeness with you, of healing whispered into the silence. Cover my family, wrap your arms around the ones I love. Go where I cannot go, protect where I cannot see. Let your name be the first word on our lips in the morning, and the last breath in our dreams. For those under this roof and those far away, be the constant shelter, the unshakable shield, the everlasting peace. Remind me that I am not behind, I'm not late, I'm not forgotten. I'm right where I'm meant to be for the work you are doing in me. Remind me that this season isn't punishment, it's preparation. That delay is not denial. That what feels like a closed door may just be your mercy rerouting me to something better. Help me forgive myself, Lord, for decisions made in fear, for prayers I stopped praying, for doors I closed too early. Remind me that nothing is too broken for you to restore, that even my delay can't cancel your design. That grace doesn't just pick me up, it walks beside me until I learn to run again. You don't shame my stumbling, you celebrate my return. You don't count how many times I've fallen, you count every time I come home to you. Speak healing into my mind. Unravel the knots of stress and self-doubt. Quiet the internal dialogue that tells me I'm not enough. Replace it with your voice, your word, that says I am chosen, loved, and never forsaken. Let truth echo louder than lies. Let identity rise stronger than insecurity. And tonight, Lord, for those who feel utterly alone, wrap them in a silence that speaks of your nearness. For the single parent, the weary student, the grieving spouse, the waiting heart, be closer than their breath. Remind them, you are not only the God of nations, you are the God of this room, this bed, this moment. Show up in dreams, bring peace to insomnia. Let the night become a sanctuary, not a battlefield. I pray for divine redirection where I've wandered. Align my heart again with your heartbeat. Let nothing pull me out of the shelter of your wings. And if I must wait, help me wait well, with hope, not resentment, with worship, not worry. Let me learn the rhythm of rest, the joy of patience, the depth of surrender. And Lord, prepare divine surprises, appointments I didn't schedule, doors I didn't knock on, answers I didn't expect. Let them rise like dawn, quietly and brilliantly, as proof that you were always ahead of me. You're not just preparing a path, you're preparing my heart to receive it. So take my to-do lists, my calendars, my timelines. I lay them at your feet. I choose rest over rush. I choose surrender over striving. I choose to believe that something sacred happens when I let go and let you. You are not asking me to do more. You are asking me to trust more. Thank you for going ahead of me, for preparing not just my path, but my heart, for calming not just the storm around me, but the storm within me, for holding the night and holding me in it. This night I declare, I am not afraid of tomorrow, because you are already in it. This night I confess, I am not strong on my own, but I am held by the one who is. This night I proclaim, my future is not fragile, it is forged by the faithful hands of God. And because of that, I rest. And Lord, tonight I lift up every heart listening to this prayer through Shine Light. You know them by name. You know their stories, their struggles, their prayers whispered into pillows, and their hopes held quietly in waiting. Wrap them now in a blanket of your nearness. Let each listener feel seen, known, and deeply loved. Speak peace into every weary heart. Speak courage into every anxious soul. Speak assurance into every question. Let them know they are not praying alone. They are part of a family you've gathered for such a time as this. Strengthen them. Heal them. Whisper direction into their night, and let them rest under the shadow of your wings. For every subscriber, every soul that stumbles across this channel, may they not just find content, but encounter your presence. Let Shine Light continue to be a lighthouse in the night, drawing hearts home to you. In Jesus' name, Amen. Maybe you've prayed the words, but your heart still wonders, what if it doesn't work out? What if tomorrow brings more pain than peace? And it's okay to admit that, even now, even after praying. Faith is not the absence of those questions. It's what we do with them. And tonight, you're choosing something sacred. You're choosing to place those questions into the hands of God. When we say, I trust God with my next step, we're not saying we feel brave every moment. We're saying we choose surrender over striving. And sometimes that choice happens through trembling hands and teary eyes. But trust doesn't always feel strong. It often feels quiet, honest, and deeply raw. Maybe today drained you more than you expected. Maybe you had to hold yourself together when all you wanted to do was fall apart. Maybe you smiled through things you didn't have the strength to explain. And now, as night wraps around you, it's hard to stop carrying what you've carried all day. But the miracle of this moment is that you don't have to keep holding it. God is here, and He's already in your tomorrow. What would it feel like to let your soul truly rest tonight? Not just your body, not just your schedule, but your spirit. Imagine placing every fear, every unknown, every future possibility into His hands. The hands that formed the galaxies, the hands that healed lepers, the hands that stretched wide on a cross for you. Those same hands are reaching for your burdens now, and He doesn't just want the easy ones, He wants the real ones. What you fear about tomorrow doesn't disqualify you from God's peace. It's an invitation. Every uncertainty becomes a doorway to deeper trust. Every anxious thought can be met with a whisper from heaven. I'm already ahead of you. You don't need every answer tonight. You need presence. The kind that calms your inner world even when the outer world stays messy. The kind that allows you to lay your head down not with solutions, but with surrender. The kind of peace that passes understanding isn't just poetic. It's possible. And it's waiting for you right now. It's easy to cling to control when control feels like the only way to feel safe. But what if safety was never meant to come from knowing the path, but from knowing the guide? What if your peace isn't found in predicting the future, but in knowing the one who holds it? Sometimes we don't realize how much we're carrying until God invites us to let go. And tonight, He is. Gently, tenderly. He's asking you to release what you've tried to manage, fix, and solve. He's not disappointed in your trying. He's just ready to take it from here. He's not asking for performance. He's asking for permission to enter the deepest places of your fear and bring rest, to breathe peace into the chaos, to silence the lies that say, "It's all up to me." It's not. It never was. Can you rest tonight, knowing you've already been guided by grace, that long before you made your plans, God made provision, that even if tomorrow doesn't unfold the way you imagined, it can still unfold in His goodness. This is more than a bedtime reflection. It's a surrender, a holy pause, a moment where heaven meets your room and wraps you in the promise. You are not alone. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. So breathe deep. Let the silence become sacred. Let the stillness become strength. You don't have to know what comes next. You just need to know who goes with you. And He always, always will. Tonight, as you prepare to sleep, remember this. God is not only writing your story, He's already prepared the next chapter. And it's filled with His presence, His timing, His peace. If this reflection touched your heart, send it to someone who may be silently carrying the same weight. You might be the messenger of peace they've been praying for. Type in the comments, "I trust God with my next step," to declare your faith aloud and unite with others believing for peace over their future. Don't forget to follow Shine Light for more spirit-led devotions and nightly prayers that prepare your heart for rest and your soul for tomorrow. Sleep well, beloved. Heaven is holding your tomorrow.